Greetings. I don't think I'm very well lit. Hey, another rambling rant here from Mango Mon, Jeff T, Z Jeff Taylor. Yeah, I'm thinking about viruses today. Viruses have played a very vital role in the way we have evolved as humans. Viruses help to unzip messenger RNA and DNA, help it recombine in new ways. So in a sense, viruses are like catalysts. They're like a part of our evolution. And they're definitely interacting with genetic material, helping things to evolve. This is over a span of thousands of years. It happens in mysterious ways. But viruses are really neat creatures, really neat things. And of course, in the past, things have happened. We've had some plagues, some horrible, deadly outbreaks. Um, a lot of times, hey there, if we look at the influence of what humans were doing in that situation as the problem with the virus developed, in other words, when it really suddenly became really deadly or something happened, a lot of times we had different mix of how humans and animals were living together, and sort of increased animal domestication, or there'd be different situations of sanitation, so forth, leading to outbreaks of cholera and so forth as humans were packed into dense areas together. A lot of times it's just too many humans being too close together with a poor sanitation system, or a lack of good water. Dehydration leads to making a virus much worse. So normal, healthy person could be exposed to an Ebola virus in a limited way, and they're going to make it. A person who's really dehydrated and vulnerable and gets exposed in a more dangerous, more inclusive way to the virus, they're going to die, unfortunately. So these other factors of the environment, what we're doing, have often played into these things, whether the virus becomes deadly or not, or what happens with the virus. Well, in modern times, nefarious entities taking advantage of mankind's general lack of knowledge about viruses and kind of fear of viruses, they've managed to weaponize the idea of the virus to make it something scary. And not only that, they are physically taking viruses out of nature that in themselves would not make the transition to infecting humans, or would not be so transmissible or deadly. They are gaining them up, making them more deadly. In effect, weaponizing existing microbes in nature and making them worse. And they're doing that on purpose. And that is such misguided policy, so arrogant and nefarious, that it's going to lead to bad consequences. Nature is amazing, and that's where my screenplay comes in, the Luminescence Project. And what it is that humans were trying to weaponize or make a new virus, and they were taking advantage of zero gravity situations in space to do it. And they were expecting, certain outcomes. But what happened was that the sun interacted with the viruses. One day the space station was pointed at the sun, and they had their protective gear down so that they were in observation mode. So it's kind of like a relaxed, more observation mode where you can stare directly at the Earth. It's like a window. It's very beautiful. Or there's like protection mode where you think that some asteroids are coming or something, so you have a protective shield that comes over that glass in the space station. Well, on this given day, they were working in the lab. They had the protective shield up in the lab. But then a solar storm happened. There were no asteroids, but a really weird coronal mass ejection headed right for the space station, and just bathed the space station in plasma and energy and light, charged particles. And these interacted with the new viruses that the scientists were working on, and these viruses kind of morphed into a new life form. They started doing nervous conduction extracellularly, like kind of as nerve conduction happens in our brain along the myelin sheath. They started kind of doing that outside of themselves in the plasma that they were in, or the mix that they were in. And not only that, it was light giving. It was luminescent, bioluminescent. This type of nervous conduction that they were doing was giving off light. And not only that, they started to create their own little nodes. So they were separating, differentiating, creating nervous tissue in different styles, just beyond the sort of viral structure that they had, and creating these nodes. And then these nodes were connected in a circle, and things were happening between the nodes, the neural nodes that they had created. And at that point, the scientists on board the space station agreed that the nodes had become sort of telepathic, and were kind of reading their mind and mirroring images from their minds back to them, and also whispering to them, kind of suggesting solutions to problems that were plaguing these scientists on the space station. And the nodes grew over time. The activity increased, the light volume increased. As it did, communication started happening with the Earthlings on Earth, telepathic communications. And in the meantime, some of the humans were said, hey, this is a scary project. This is something by the Russians against the Americans. They're trying to control our minds. Let's kill it. Some of the Americans actually said that and tried to do it. But unfortunately, wiser heads prevailed. The world global community combined to kind of save the nodes. And through all this, the humans were starting to gaining a new consciousness of how they were connected to the sun and to the nodes, to the universe, and to each other. And that's kind of the crux of the story, the screenplay. Humanity goes through a profound shift, realizing the sort of oneness, the connectedness of life and consciousness. And they change from their limited ways of fear and hyper individuality, war and torture and rape. All that stops as the human consciousness evolves via our little friends, help from our little viruses, which we were trying to turn into a weapon. So that's the story, the Luminescence Project.